Mrs. Sepulveda, hi, nice to meet you. I'm your doctor today.
Good morning.
What seems to be the problem?
I got sick about 3 years ago with a cough. I've had it ever since. I can't get well, you know?
3 years? Why didn't you come in sooner?
I go to the Catholic Church, St. Paul's. They have a clinic, so the nuns there take care of me.
Could you describe the cough, Mrs. Sepulveda?
It's constant. I cough so much that I almost throw up, and headaches all the time. My kids have the same thing.
Could you cough for me, please? 3 years you've had this?
Yes, and my kids, they're only sick too.
How far along in your pregnancy are you?
5 months?
Okay, Mrs. Sepulveda, you're too far along to have surgery. Come back once you've delivered.
Surgery?
Mrs. Sepulveda, hi, nice to meet you. I'm your doctor today.
I've had this cough all the time for 4 years now.
I see on your chart that you have 4 children. Is that correct?
5 actually. The youngest is 4 months.
Your last physician recommended surgery. I think that's best. Should be a downtime of a few days. Thank you.
Mrs. Sepulveda, hi, nice to meet you. I'm your doctor today.
I don't understand what the surgery is for.
Your cough, Mrs. Sepulveda.
Sepulveda.
We think it's persistent bronchitis.
Does that need surgery?
Mrs. Sepulveda, please remove the left half of your gown. The incision will be along this line.
What? That long?
Another physician will be in to explain the anesthesiology.
What is the surgery for?
Just be glad we're here to help, Mrs. Sepulveda.
Mrs. Sepulveda, hi, nice to meet you.
Sepulveda.
I'm your doctor today. We're going to put you under for a few hours. Is your husband able to pick you up?
He's working. I don't think he can come.
Well, call a neighbor. That half the lung is coming out today.
My lung has to be removed?
Just half. It'll help you. The anesthesia may make you sick to the stomach for a few hours after surgery. That's normal. Try to take it easy. Skip work this week. The surgeon will be coming back now.
Skip work?
Mrs. Sepulveda, hi, nice to meet you. I'm your doctor today. Are you ready?
Haven't we met before?
You're very sick, Mrs. Sepulveda. This will help.
I have a 4-month-old at home. I'm only 23. What is this surgery for?
Mrs. Sepulveda. Nice to meet you. I'm your doctor today.
I have problems with my breathing. It feels like I can't get enough air.
It says here you had a lobectomy. Is that correct?
I had what?
Your left lung, part of it was removed.
Oh yes, they removed it for bronchitis, they said.
Excuse me a moment. Doctor, could you come in here? Could you repeat that for me?
Who are you?
Mrs. Sepulveda, hi, nice to meet you. I'm your doctor today.
Please tell my colleague what you told me.
They took my lung at the clinic.
For what?
Bronchitis.
You don't get a lung removed for bronchitis.
That's just what they told me. I don't know.
Are you crazy?
No, because that...
As far as we can tell, you need to be put on oxygen.
Why didn't you seek a second opinion?
This was the second place I went. I came to the clinic after the church. You didn't even look at my lung. How do you know?
I mean, you must be crazy to let them operate.
No, I am not crazy. This is what they told me to do. If anyone, the doctor is crazy, not me. I don't know why they operated. They operated because I was sick, but I don't know the problem. They wouldn't tell me.
Mrs. Sepulveda, hi, nice to meet you. I'm your doctor today. What was that?
Nothing.
Just be glad we're helping you. Get an oxygen tank.
I feel like I'm drowning when I wake up in the morning.
Mrs. Sepulveda, you have an alarming amount of asbestos present in your blood. Is there any particular reason for that?
Well, my husband works in the factory mixing the asbestos into water, you know?
If your husband works in an asbestos factory, you need to be cleaning your home regularly, mopping at least once a day, and, if possible, don't come into contact with his work clothes.
Okay.
The oxygen tank should solve the problem. Maybe another surgery, your husband should get a new job.
Here on the behalf of the West Dallas community. What's your issue today?
Council member, we're here to ask that you close the lead smelter poisoning our community.
And which smelter would that be, Mr. Sepulveda?
The one run by the RSR Corporation, council member.
The Revere Smelting and Refining Corporation is the source of jobs and big business here in Dallas. What do you imagine the corporation is doing to cause you and your community harm?
The smelter releases lead dust practically 24/7. It rains down on our families day and night.
Why do you believe this is an issue?
We don't believe this is an issue. It is one. People are dying left and right in West Dallas. That's a fact, council member, not a belief. The RSR is poisoning people.
Poisoning seems like rather strong language to me.
It's not.
Y'all have no facts on your side, Mr.
We have
Fullenweiler.
the only facts, council member. You have a copy of our research in front of you.
That data is unclear as far as I can tell.
Are you a scientist, council member?
No. And I don't put really much trust in that voodoo type testing y'all do.
Voodoo?
I agree. This is merely an emotional appeal, not a legal or health related one.
Council, please, children are sick. We are fighting for our lives. There's something wrong in our community.
Mr. Sepulveda, Mr. Fullenwider, I can appreciate your passion.
Well, do something about it. Your city leaders elected to protect us.
Not closing the smelter is protecting people. Jobs for people in your community. We're not going to close the smelter.
I think you mean you won't.
Until you can offer irrefutable proof that the RSR Corporation is a harm to the community, we really can't do anything.
If you're going to refuse to do your job to help these people at least tell the truth about it, you won't shut it down because of the money.
John, it's a $60 million corporation. I'm not gonna have a bunch of Mexicans from West Dallas shutting it down.
This bunch of Mexicans is trying to clean up the mess that you are
The
making.
evidence is right in front of you. The only set of facts says there's overwhelming contamination.
Children are being poisoned. I'm sorry. Your community has blown this out of proportion.
What?
You have nothing to worry about.
What do you mean by my community?
I understand it may be a result of cultural differences, but I suggest you take more responsibility for your own health.
That's what we're doing here today.
Council member, can you be clear on what you're insinuating about West Dallas?
And you know, John, I really don't understand your horse in this race. You've been coming in here for decades fighting alongside people like this.
Yes, tell us, what's a white man like yourself doing mixed up in all these minority issues?
Mr. Sepulveda, go home and settle down. And if you don't like it here in Dallas, well, you can go around and back across that border.
Excuse me? I will have you know that I have lived in West Dallas my entire life. In fact, I was born here.
I can guarantee you, we are not shutting down the smelter.
Keep it open. But the facts are on our side.
Not from where I'm sitting. Next item on the agenda, please.
You know what finally closed the smelter? Permits.
Not sick children, not a sudden change of heart from a city council member, not scientific testing. No, special use permits. It's as boring and bureaucratic as it sounds.
He'll hardly admit to it, but John got the smelter closed in the end. He pored over zoning codes, permits, maps of West Dallas. That guy really knows his way around a library.
Back before the RSR conflict, I was trying to set up a daycare for another community. The city tells us, well, you gotta have a specific use permit to build that daycare center. So, okay, we get a permit, build the thing. In '84, right, when we're losing steam on how to shut the RSR down, it just dawned on me that, hey, they probably need a specific use permit to have a smelter.
So John goes to the library, and this whole thing was pre-internet, if you can even imagine such a thing. Well, he looks it up. You do need a special permit if you want a smelting facility. The RSR didn't have one.
It was like a secret weapon we had up our sleeves. We didn't tell anyone about it at first, worried that they would find some loophole or that the city council would change the permit requirements.
City council at that time had a special committee looking into the RSR, deciding whether or not to close it.
But that committee, it's a sham. Everyone on it will just say what the council and the smelter want them to say.
Sure enough, after they study the case, the committee reports, don't close the smelter. All's well in West Dallas.
By the week after that, we've got our own report to present to the council. It had 5 different reasons to close the smelter according to law. The key one was that zoning code.
If you don't have a specific use permit, you have to phase out facility use when there's a complaint. Well, I'm sure you've gathered by now that there have been a couple of complaints.
So, the RSR was closed.
This was the biggest win in recent Dallas protest history. Why? Permit codes.
Something as mundane as a zoning permit ended this kind of Herculean struggle against the city.
But it's like any protest, really. When you do a street protest, you're focused on the issue. But the people trying to drive by you in their cars, they don't care about the issue. They do. They care about the traffic snarl you're causing. You end up getting what you want by annoying everyone, by doing something related to what the public actually cares about, which is convenience. But it starts, of course, from a place of passion.
So, you've gone and done it. Congratulations. Yes, a hearty congratulations. You did it, West Dallas. You closed the evil ORSR lead smelter. You went all the way to the Supreme Court to plead your little case. You stood up to the establishment, to the corporations, to the white man. Well, good on you. Fight's not over, of course. No, not by a long shot. Remember epigenetics? Little Jerry Jr. is still out there continuing the good work of lead poisoning. But that's not all. Oh no. No. The smelter may be closed, but the lead ain't gone. Is it? Aside from your bones, your teeth, your hair follicles, the metaphorical and emotional trauma and nasty old lead sticking around in y'all's heads, the literal lead is still here. Yes, lead never breaks down, remember? Of course you do. You're still complaining about it. It's sitting there in the RSR's abandoned lot. It rears its ugly head every time a gust of wind comes down from the west. Or how about those battery chicks in your yard? Yes, sir, it's hard to snatch up all those. They never break down, of course. I'd stay away if I was you. I'd certainly keep the little ones' hands off. Then again, I'd never live in a shithole like West Dallas now, would I? What was the grand finale? What did it look like to emancipate yourself from those choking leaden chains? For the Revere Smelting and Refining Corporation, it was closing the door, turning off the lights, and walking away. We didn't even have to shut down the corporation. Nah, we got other locations more than willing to bear the brunt of progress. I'm looking at you, California, Indiana, New York. Very, cosmopolitan of us. Sure, we stopped pumping lead into West Dallas' air 24/7, but the slag around West Dallas, the dust laid over our machinery, the battery chips in y'all's yards, the arteries pumping lead blood through your veins, we'll leave that there. A little pardon gift to the ungrateful community that we brought industrious imagination to. I'll be going now. I'd say I'll miss you, West Dallas, but well, who'd miss a garbage heap like this?
Marion?
Hi, are you Grace?
Yes, hi. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing well, thank you. Thanks for letting me come talk to you.
Come on in. Do you want some water?
Oh, I'm fine, thank you.
Now, how did you find me?
Oh, I got your information from a health survey you filled out for Luis Sepulveda in the 90s. It was a survey about living in West Dallas.
Who is that?
Oh, Luis Sepulveda. He was one of the people leading the lawsuit against the RSR Corporation. Do you mind if I record?
Okay.
Okay, well, just to explain again what I told you on the phone, I'm a student,
A
right?
student?
Yes, ma'am.
I thought you were a lawyer. I thought you were going to help me.
No, ma'am. I'm an undergrad. But I can give you Luis's information. He's trying to see how people who live in the area are doing, see if he can help any further.
Can I get his number before you leave?
Of course. So do you mind if I ask you a few questions?
Sure.
Okay, so, well, you lived in West Dallas. As a kid, were you aware of the pollution issues?
No. No. I was when I got older, but I wasn't when I was a kid. Hello? Hello? I hope y'all clean your room. I'm okay if it's clean. Those are my grandsons. I'm raising them.
So did you have more?
No, but how would we know about it? You know? They didn't tell us nothing. Nobody helped us out here. Hello? Yeah. Yes. Okay. No.
Did your siblings or parents work in any of the factories?
No.
Okay. Louise told me that they'd often notice lead dust falling from the sky. Did you ever experience that?
Yes.
Do you think it harmed your health?
I don't know. We got sick, you know. We didn't know what it was at the time. Me, my siblings, and my kids all had real bad asthma. So that might have had something to do with it. But like I said, there was no way of knowing there was no way for us to know. It was hard enough to live, never mind living well.
Were you involved in the lawsuit that happened?
In the what now?
There was a lawsuit on behalf of the kids that live there. The RSR Corporation, the lead smelter, was sued on behalf of the children of West Dallas. It was settled for $16 million.
Well, nobody. No, I wasn't. No.
But you said you know people who were paid as a result of the suit.
Yes, people got paid. I wasn't one of them.
Do you know why some people got paid and others didn't?
I'm not for sure. At first, I guess we learned about the lead. People was protesting. It was on the news a lot. And there was this lawyer 3 years ago who said, "This is the last chance. This is the last time we'll be paying anybody." But we didn't hear nothing else until you called me today. But you're not a lawyer, I guess.
No. Obviously, I think you should be repaid for the medical conditions.
You know what?
that-
I lost 2 babies.
Do you think that had something to do with the
I
lead?
believe it did. Yes. They were stillborn. Had 2 children born dead. And I didn't get no payment.
When did that happen?
76 and 86.
Was that something you told anyone about?
No. My mother and my grandmother were all sick all the time. We didn't know what it was, the lead, until years later. You could see stuff in the debris, in the air. I think it may be why we have to wear glasses. But there was no way for us to know at the time.
Why do you think it took 20 years to close the smelter, even after they knew it was dangerous?
Nobody didn't give a damn.
Why do you think that is?
You tell me. It took them that long to shut it down. And they knew. Yeah, it just felt like a fact of life. Nothing we could do about it. No way they'd move it. It was making them money, I guess.
Louisa's mother told me that they
And
were...
you know what? City government moved the white folks out. When I was a kid, I saw them do it. But nobody ever said anything to me. Nobody paid me or moved me out of the projects. There's nothing they can do about it now. It's past. But I'd like to be paid for my pain, my doctor, my medical bills. A lot of people did get paid, but I did not. Hello? Nah. Okay. Bye.
Okay, well, thank you for speaking with me. I don't want to take up too much more of your time.
Here, let's write that man's number down before you go.
Oh, of course. Here's his card.
Oh, great, sweetie. Thank you. You want some water before you go?
No, ma'am, thank you. I'm fine.
Of course, of course. All right, let me walk you to your car.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
The RSR was closed, but the fight was far from over. The whole town was still layered in lead. So in the early 90s, we did more testing.
We needed evidence, and the Dallas City Council, they weren't going to go for anecdotal stuff, you know?
Who do you think the city government will side with? The Mexicans and black people in the projects, or the white guys running the company and their lawyers?
People coming in and telling them about their dead children, their cancer or disease wouldn't be enough because frankly, they didn't care. They were clear on that.
No, we were already fighting to get a corporation to pay for the mess they left. Even without race components, that was a tall order.
To say we needed a sound argument would be an understatement.
So Jim came in for testing and he had resources through the National Toxics Campaign. We took 11 samples from all around West Dallas, Fish Trap Lake, where the companies would dump their stuff at night, people's yards, inside folks' homes.
All 11 samples came back contaminated. All of them.
What they found was just irrefutable.
When I was working for NTC, I got a lot of false claims. This was real. I mean, they had lead tests come back in the thousands of parts per million.
I say, Jim, I'm no scientist. What do those results mean exactly?
For context, Flint,
The
Michigan.
most contaminated water in Flint had 13 parts per million of lead.
Every site we sampled in West Dallas had thousands.
The EPA, of course, said our tests didn't count, that they weren't official.
The EPA was full of shit.
If the government wasn't going to listen, I figure I'd start getting us in the news again. So I start sending out packets of information, big, thick envelopes with test results like this. I sent them to just about every newspaper in the country.
We had an EPA certified lab and definite test results. That wasn't enough for them.
We were on the front page of the Times Herald or Dallas Morning News pretty much every week. We were on CNN, all the Spanish channels, Boston Globe, and the New York Times. We were everywhere again. I started traveling all around the country. I was going to California, San Diego, New Mexico, Canada. Now, I gave lectures at schools, even went up to Dartmouth College and gave a talk there. You know, a kid that never traveled before, never left Texas in his life, that never... I was traveling all over the place and talking about West Dallas. I mean, I went to the Supreme Court with this thing and people came to see me. You know, we made the United States care.
Louis, you're in the paper again.
Look, another clipping. You're all over the place, baby.
Did you read this?
Not yet. I just saw your picture and I thought you'd like it.
We do not expect to overcome Sepulveda, but we can focus on the silent majority. At some point, they will turn against him and want him out of the way.
Who said that?
An EPA spokesperson.
Luis, I don't think you should be left alone anymore.
What do you think? They're going to do something?
Are you kidding me? Sure. They do it all the time. I'm serious, Luis.
He's right, baby. From now on, you gotta be with someone at all times.
Jim, John, all my lawyers, they have been telling me I'd be the target, that I pissed off the wrong people. But I didn't take that stuff seriously. I mean, they're evil, right? Poisoning their community, but they wouldn't go so far as to hurt me in public. I keep doing my protests. The EPA is lying to us. They say there's no problem, but we are fighting for our lives.
You're not black.
What?
You're not black. Why are you trying to speak for my community?
Who are
And what
you?
gives you the right to come to the project? Tell me what my health issues are.
You've never been to a rally before. Do you
There's no
live?
reason for you to be doing this. There's no problem here.
Do you live in West
You
Dallas?
don't speak for me!
¿Tú no eres suficiente para estar enciendo eso?